Hello and welcome back to Piston Junction for the Group 4 time trial. I'm your host, miles per hour, and this is the Wastelands Motorsports Diecast Racing League, the WMD. Before we get into today's racing, let's take a moment to thank our sponsor. And today, that's the No-Tell Motel. Here in Piston Junction, where for just a gallon of gas, you can get a piece of... And if you can find a better deal, you let me know where. Today's time trials are action-packed and have drivers from all over the world. But rather than me tell you about it, let's just get to watching it, eh? Our first driver is baby Humungous Cookie all the way from the Joust. She's driving Aerial Attack, a 1984 Corvette. While we haven't let weapons go active yet, we're fairly certain that that's got some powerful countermeasures. Now, she handles that first corner pretty well, but she gets a little loosey-goosey here around the refinery. Now, she handles Dead Man's Curve and the Temple of Speed like it's nothing. Now, I never took Baby Cookie for a show-off, but here we are. Hey, stop showing off and speed up. All right, the right lane, round 2. Let's go. Now, she may seem pretty calm here on the track, but I'm fairly certain that once the racing starts, she's going to bring all that Joust energy right to the track and right to the grill. Now, it looks like Baby Cookie took my advice, because did you see that air? Next up is Evelyn Wheels in the Ash Rider, an MBG coupe with more weaponry than God. Even Old Man Rutherford is impressed. Now, the Piston Junction Switchback is not an easy track, and it requires a certain amount of power to get down, and we're not certain that that MBG coupe has that power weighed down with those weapons. It certainly doesn't have the speed, and it looks like Miss Wheels is out on a Sunday drive. But you can't blame her for stopping for a bottle of Rad, the only energy drink with real nuclear energy. Hopefully she's good and juiced up now because we're all rooting for Evelyn in round 2. She looks to be off to a pretty smooth start, taking that first corner without any real issues but you can see her starting to lose speed as she comes around Refinery Gulch. But then tragedy as she's blinded by smoke and takes the curb. Don't worry, race fans, you'll see her again. Now here's Banjo Dave, the other half of Slovenia Appalachian Racing. He's a good guy, always with a six-pack in his hand, and he knows how to get everything you need in the Wastelands. For those playing the home game, that means he's a smuggler. Now, you might have noticed I have not pronounced the name of his car. That's because it would violate standards. Now, Dave's kind of superstitious, so he takes the omens of the Temple of Speed pretty seriously. Now, he's also a bit of a romantic, which explains what happens here next, when he goes to avenge Miss Evelyn Wheels for her ignominious crash. It looks like Banjo Dave got his man, and maybe he'll get the girl. He has prospects from all over the world, including the former UK. Strike here is considered to be one of the finest drivers in all of England. But I think that's a little strange considering he still can't figure out how to drive on the right side of the road. But Queen Diana likes him, so here we are. He's quick on the accelerator as the gate drops, and smooth around corner 1 and into Oil Gulch, and then down through Dead Man's Curve, and coming all the way around the Temple of Speed. Look at him go, coming around. Oh, he's backwards now. Wrong side of the road, driving backwards. It's a strange place. Hopefully, lap 2 will be significantly faster. Ever since the destruction of London, Scotland and England have gone their separate ways, and the clans are back on top up north. And that's causing significant friction here in Piston Junction between Strike and Fractal Panda. Hopefully his times improve because those aren't going to cut it. Most of our drivers are in their 20s and 30s, but Puff here is a genuine octogenarian. For those of you who weren't educated, that means he's over 80. Now, despite being an old man that yells at clouds, he still drives a car with a powerful engine and a powerful punch. And trust me, those quad rocket launchers will light up your life for the rest of your life. Look, old Puff is really cooking down that track, and he catches some great hang time here, but he's a little too high, and those rocket launchers catch on the gate. Now, he managed to clip intern Tim here, which is annoying because you're supposed to kill collaborator Bob. Let's see how he does on the second lap. Now, that business name is pronounced Rocket Launchers. You have to use the guttural tone. You can really feel the power in that engine he's packing in that Mustang. It just zooms down the track. Even the Temple of Speed gives him a nod of respect. Down the final stretch into Piston Junction with an excellent time, and he remembered to kill collaborator Bob. Here comes Datsun Dan in Face Kicker 2.0, fresh from the wastelands and ready to kick your face. That Datsun S2000 has been outfitted with capacitors and an amazing laser cannon. Don't worry though, we've disabled it. For now. We're getting word that Datsun Dan's gonna make an unscheduled pit stop here because he really wants to stop into the Rust Belt Customs showroom, trailer, and children's playground. Maybe it was the blonde in the black leggings. I'm not real sure. Datsun Dan has kicked me in the face plenty. The first time he did it was by introducing me to Deborah. I swear to God, he and Sam Hall have it out for me. Let's see how he does on lap 2. Maybe he'll even finish. We don't know. Maybe he'll explode into a ball of fire. That would be wonderful. There's too much weight in the back of the car like those capacitors. It tends to get people turned around a bit. Oh my God, did you see that face kick? 2 for 1. Got collaborator Bob right in the face. We are legally required to employ collaborator Bob, but no one really likes him because his name is not a lie. He collaborated with Mars during the invasion. So we allow him in Piston Junction, but we do not afford him any respect or protection. Speaking of protection, then there's Mr. Darq. Probably seen him around the track eyeballing the Count. And that's for good reason, because Mr. Darq is a vampire hunter and the Count happens to be a vampire. Now let's see if Mr. Darq can put that cougar to good use and catch up to the Count. As we all know, the only victory that matters is the victory on the track. He screams right past Dead Man's Curve and around the Temple of Speed. Here he comes into Piston Junction, he takes that final jump, and he comes in a full third of a second faster than the Count. Here we are in the right lane for lap 2, and let's see if he can keep that speed up. The Mercury Cougar is a pretty consistent performer on all the tracks in the Gaslands and WMD circuits. And I know that Mr. Darq is serious about this race because before he got on the track, he actually removed the weapons from the car. But I think that's somewhat irrelevant because clearly his car is a weapon. And here's Fractal Panda, our Scottish entry into the race, and he seems like a perfectly wonderful individual so long as Strike isn't in the room. We've already had to break up 3 fistfights between the two, because apparently Strike takes insults to his queen quite seriously, and Fractal Panda can't shut his mouth. He can drive, as you can see here, flying down the Piston Junction Switchback. Now here our camera gets a little shaky, so bear with us. Now, coming into the final stretch, he's got a good time so far. Oh my good... You love to see it when collaborator Bob gets a car to the face. Now we've given him a time of 13:47 for that last lap. Let's see if he can improve on it in the second one. He's burning up the track coming into Oil Gulch. Seems to get a little loose around Dead Man's Curve, and he passes the Temple of Speed with no issue. Coming into the final straight, he's looking good for a nice solid time. Never let it be said that the Scottish have no style. Look at that power slide. Now time for a hometown driver. This is Theodora Piston, Johnny Piston's little sister. She's driving Legacy, the family 1969 Dodge Charger. Now, Johnny's not a prospect, he's a full member of the WMD. Let's see if Theodora can follow in his footsteps. Now, I see already she's a little slower on the uptake than her brother, but that's probably because she's not as experienced in driving that massive car. But she is steady and she is consistent, and you'll see that in her performance. A 13.8's not a bad time, but it's not going to put you at the top of the pack. Let's see if she does better in the right lane in round 2. She's quick out of the gate this time around, and she got solid cornering and speed into Oil Gulch, but oh my God, that Charger just took a pounding. And it looks like Dead Man's Curve collects another set of boots. Coming to us from the ruins of Iowa and Indiana, we have Papa Pugsley driving the number 72 Claymore. Put your front to the enemy. Papa Pugsley's driving a little wild there, but it looks like Dead Man's Curve got himself another one. It's easy to see why Papa Pugsley is one of the most sought-after caravan yards. He's driving good, smooth, and straight here with a 13.1 time that is not actually that bad. Most of the east coast of the United States was densely populated, but now exists only as fortified enclaves surrounded by millions of zombies and half-mad men trying to escape them. And yet through that somehow, King Jester has managed to form a solid community at Pawtucket, Rhode Island. He rules through strength and through capriciousness, which is ironically a fairly good way of ruling the wastelands. For all, if someone doesn't like your decree, you can just say they don't get the joke. Speaking of jokes, he thought it would be funny to go in the left lane again, and you know what? We're gonna allow it. He's strong off the line, pours down into Oil Gulch. I think he's on track to have a pretty good run here. Here at the WMD, we do our best to bring you the very best in prospects, and King Jester is one of them. Sawyer, she's one of the best bounty hunters and trackers in the industry, and she's based out of Tombstone, Arizona, and it seems reasonable that her car is called High Noon. With that low-slung profile and the powerful forward guns, I think she's going to be a serious contender and threat on the Piston Junction Switchback this year. Those curves. Hey, did someone take out a contract on collaborator Bob? Because she sure seemed to go right for it. Not that anyone minds. So to be clear, there isn't just one collaborator Bob. The Martians keep sending us one after we kill them. We just got tired of learning their names, so they're all just called Collaborator Bob. You don't have to learn their names, think of them as human, or file the paperwork. Oh look, Showdown has decided to stop into the Rust Belt Customs Playground and Chop Shop. And that's all for today, folks. Be sure to like and subscribe and join us next week.